Matric exams stopped and homes evacuated as extreme weather hits parts of the Eastern Cape. SOE's alarming 69 billion rand in irregular expenditure. And the cocktail of drugs and booze found in One Direction's Liam Payne's body after his fatal fall. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton.
This is Eyewitness News.
But first, Springbok captain Rachel Kolisi and his wife Rachel Kolisi have announced that they are getting divorced. In a statement on Instagram, they say they have mutually decided to end their marriage, and the decision comes from a place of love, respect and understanding. They are committed partners in raising their children and will continue to work together on their foundation. Several areas in Kariga and Gqeberha have been evacuated and matric exams suspended because of heavy rains and overnight flooding.
The overnight flooding in Nelson Mandela Bay Metro and Kariga is reminiscent of the floods of June this year. Disaster management, who we have been in touch with since Sunday night, and including with the municipal manager, Mandla George, called at 3:32 this morning asking for vehicles to move communities to safer zones. Gift of the Givers is looking at providing buses and taxis to make that a reality.
Forecasters have predicted the weather would affect KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng, Mpumalanga and Eastern Cape, among other regions. Will he ask Vladimir Putin about the atrocities committed in Ukraine? President Cyril Ramaphosa will kick off his BRICS trip by meeting the Russian president. Ramaphosa has arrived in Kazan for the Summit of Emerging Economies. More than 20 heads of state are expected to attend, including China's Xi Jinping and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. On the agenda is the creation of a BRICS currency, an initiative that has stalled several times.
The meeting will present an opportunity for the President to communicate his priorities for the 7th administration, highlight the strategic importance of the Russian Federation to South Africa, and to exchange views with the host president on issues of mutual interest.
Ukraine's population has declined by more than 10 million since Russia invaded in February 2022. The UN Population Fund says this is due to a number of factors. 6.7 million people have fled the country as refugees since the war started. Thousands have been killed and the country's extremely low birth rate. Community Development MMC Kabelo Gwamanda has been placed on precautionary leave following his recent arrest. Joburg Mayor Dada Morero communicated the decision to Gwamanda during a meeting earlier today. Gwamanda was arrested on Friday following allegations he ran a funeral insurance scheme that defrauded some Soweto residents. Patriotic Alliance Deputy President Kenny Kuneni, who serves as Transport MMC, is tipped to act in Gwamanda's position. Former Joburg Mayor Mpho Palatse has questioned why it's taken more than a year for Gwamanda to account for his fraud allegations. Palatse was the one who exposed these allegations in May last year.
What's surprising to me is a few things. One is how everybody's acting surprised. The ANC, including every other political party that actually supported his election. When we raised this alarm, none of them met with any of the victims to try and establish facts.
Stuck in their ways, Labour says no to change. The South African Federation of Trade Unions has rejected a number of proposed amendments to the country's labour laws. The proposals by government and organised business want to make big changes to the country's labour laws on issues like retrenchments, minimum wage and dismissals. For the past 2 years, SAFTU has been part of a task team convened by NEDLAC to discuss the proposed labour law amendments.
To reduce the cost of labour, employers want to amend the initial minimum wage figure to include all benefits a worker receives. Currently, the national minimum wage refers to a worker's hourly wage and does not include benefits and the cost of the employer's contributions to the UIF and the benefits, for example. Now the employers want to include these costs in an hourly wage mandated by the law. So you can see what they're angling to do. If they give workers some bag of milli or overall or whatever as a benefit, they want that included in the national minimum wage amount and so that they can find a way of reducing the actual wage.
State-owned entities have racked up a, quote, alarming 69 billion rand in irregular expenditure. The Office of the Auditor General also says 38 government departments have incurred 50 billion rand in irregular expenditure over the last 5 years. Some of the biggest offenders are SOEs like Transnet, with 35 billion rands worth of irregular expenditure, followed by SAA at 18 billion rand, as well as departments like Defence.
Irregular expenditure now for the SOEs, again, culture of conformance to the law at SOEs shows an alarming picture, with SOEs and subsidiaries incurring about 69 billion of irregular expenditure over the last 5 years.
The Proteas women's cricket team is back in the country after finishing as the runners-up at the T20 World Cup. The team received a muted welcome from the sparse crowd at OR Tambo International Airport when they landed on Tuesday morning.
They don't really sort of feature in the limelight, and to give them the support, show them that what they're doing is matters, kind of thing.
Pop star Liam Payne had multiple drugs, including crack cocaine, MDMA and metham-phetamine, in his system when he fell to his death from a hotel balcony in Argentina. These are the results of toxicology reports cited by US media. The British singer and former One Direction member died last week after plunging from a third-floor hotel room in Buenos Aires. Post-mortem results indicated that he was alone at the time of the fall. The singer suffered multiple traumas and, quote, internal and external hemorrhaging. That wraps up today's news. Remember, you can always download the EWN app.
Eyewitness News, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, log on to ewn.co.za or ewn.mobi.